So talk us through the structure point there. So give us a bit of an overview of Paramount itself. I mean, clearly you're an absolute, household name in terms of, obviously West Hampstead in terms of where you are. Most agents would have known you from winning award after award at many agencies there. But can you give us an idea of the size and scale of the business?
Yeah, so in the lettings team, we've got 24 people at our office in West Hampstead. We are an independent. We have 9 maintenance operatives on the road at any one time. We now cover London for letting, management, maintenance and refurbishment. Okay. We have a group of people who are specialised in certain aspects of each facet that we need. And what we work on is very, very slick baton changes between each group, all with the thought process of improving the customer's journey and making it easier for them to transact with us, which means that we need to talk to them on a very regular basis.
So is that formalised, that sort of trying to think of it from the tenant's point of view or the landlord's point of view? Do you literally will have a day a year or something when you'll sit down and think about this, or is this just an iterative process?
This happens all the time.
You're literally...
So we have one member of the team who continually calls every single customer, landlord, past, present, tenant, past, present, every single day.
Okay.
Every single day.
Yeah, big commitment that. But that's
it's a huge commitment.
It's a bit more than just putting it on the wall, though. Customer cares, isn't it?
I think the byproduct of that is we get real live data that we can do something with. I think a lot of people make the mistake of, we're just doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
We have touch base. We are, part of our consumer's journey. But actually, unless you ask them the good, the bad, and the ugly, how can you be? And what the good, we praise and we reward and we share ideas. The bad, we very quickly remedy. And if we have situations where we have replicated scenarios where someone's coming back, I don't like your statements, or the turnaround time on something wasn't quite right, then we know that they're the things we attack first. And it's just continuous betterment by listening to our consumer. And obviously, if we do that, then when the consumer leaves being a tenant, becoming a buyer, the buyer then becomes the landlord, then we're staying with them for their journey, the entire property journey. They don't need to go anywhere else apart from being with Paramount.
So essentially, it's a very simple process, but very powerful process.
Exactly.
If you live and breathe it on that basis.
Exactly. We try and simplify everything as best we can.
Sense. Yeah. And talk to us about. Give us the history of Paramount. What?
Okay, so started in '89. 2 guys who had a little bit of property experience. Started an investment division in a not on a high street, in a small office. Fast forward to I joined '98, we had then 7 or 8 people, a very tiny lettings department. There was me and one other. We've slowly grown the business over the years. We've made thousands of mistakes along the way. Thankfully, most of those have been contained within these walls. And if we learn from our mistakes, when we make them, it makes us better at what we do. We're human at the end of the day. And I think if you put your hand up, you admit to a mistake, move on. If it's commercial, someone's lost, you need to put it right.
Yeah.
But what we found is if you're completely transparent that way, people appreciate the honesty, and then client retention is practically 100%.
It's powerful, that admitting you're wrong, isn't it?
It's got to be done.
Yeah.
It's tough, but it's got to be done.
Yeah. And since you've been in, as you said, did you say 98?
98, I started in June 98, yeah.
And what strides, how have you seen the business change in that time?
Well, when I started, we were managing just less than 100 units. We're looking after circa 1,400 tenancies now. We're in 68 postcodes across London. Wow. We started that process about 10 years ago. And the idea was plotting where I would be, or the business would be, when I was 55 years old. If we had a bit of luck and we evolved as we were evolving, wasn't that exciting if we just stuck to NW6 and NW2. So it was, how can we crack other areas? And what I did initially is knock on agents' doors who I thought might be retiring. Maybe they hadn't spent a lot of money on their offices, and tried to make a joint venture where we would pay them a percentage of their portfolio landlords.
Yeah.
So as they retired, they would still get an income for 24 or 36 months post them retiring. That didn't work hundreds of times, but we were lucky we got 2 or 3, and off those 2 or 3 we got 160, 170 managed units, and then we learned very hard and fast how to look after portfolio landlords but without losing sight of the individual landlords.
Yeah.
So fast forward now, we've got property managers who specialise in portfolio management, so those landlords who might own 200 units,
Yeah.
and then we've got other property managers who are specialised in looking after individuals, maybe 140 landlords, something like that.
Literally
So
matching
it's
the right person up to the right requirement.
Exactly, and normally personality based.
Yeah.
You know, portfolio landlords want things super fast. They
Yeah.
look at the expenditure column.
Yeah.
Oh, am I receiving all my rents? And then the individual landlords are very much looking for, is my property being looked after? How's the tenant in situ?
So you will recruit, promote on that basis, depending on what the job is.
And then
there,
and continually change that over time. So we're constantly measuring and adjusting and to ensure that, because someone might come into Paramount and, you know, in 24 months' time, they decide they want to manage a portfolio landlord, for example, or they might want to go back to individual landlords. Or we've had people working on the front desk who are now looking after portfolio landlords.
Yeah.
We've had people in the sales department who are now working in the lettings department. So what someone starts as and what they can become, I think we need to help them evolve and change, you know, to make sure that they're doing something in the business that they love and enjoy.
So thanks for that, Spencer. That's really interesting to understand, obviously, the background of the business and everything, and how you've helped it obviously grow over the years. So that's really interesting.
Everyone's kerfuffling.